Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today in this video I thought I would go through all of my palettes that have pans that are magnetised that I can take out and put back in that are not single shadows. I think that this is a great idea for brands to do this, as it means, you know, you can take them out, move them around, play with them and kind of get more out of the palette than you would if they were all just stay static in one place and you can take them out and play with them. And I think it's great for, you know, feeling like I've got shades and not feeling like I have to have a shade in a palette and having a single version of the shade if I want to put it into a palette that I build. That way, you know, you don't have to duplicate the shades you have. I'm going to start off with kind of the big name ones. I first think of Natasha Denona for this. So I think most people know that you can remove these shades. So I'll just grab a hair grip and I just poke in the hole behind and out comes the shade. So I think that this is such a cool thing that Natasha Denona does, especially because the palettes are so expensive, and it just means that, you know, you can interchange and rearrange and play about a bit more. So I feel like this is one that everyone knows about. So I'm going to move on to another well-known brand that does this, which is Colourpop. So Colourpop is a bit harder to get out. So I have got a craft knife here and I'm just going to go at the very edge and gently just pull the shade up. So as you can see, that came out very easily and the back of the palette is just magnetised. I think this is another brand that everyone knows does this, and I think it's just so cool that you can pop everything out and rearrange. I know a lot of people who have the monochrome palettes pop them out and do a lot of cool stuff with that, but this is actually my only Colourpop palette at the moment and it's quite relatively new, so I don't want to start messing them up. This final palette I think is one that more people don't know is magnetic, and that is the Tatty Beauty palette. So this is magnetic in the same way that the Colourpop palette is magnetic. So again, if I'd carefully, I feel a bit more precious about this one as it cost a lot more. Go in the side, you can pull out the shades and then you can just use them in a magnetic palette. So I've got my little 9 pan here and I'll just take out a couple of shades so that I can show you guys that I can just put this shade in here, and I will grab the Colourpop palette shade. So that's the Colourpop shade, and then I will quickly grab a Natasha Denona shade. So as you can see there, I have just grabbed one of each of these shades. Now they are all kind of different sizes, like the Colourpop shade is slightly smaller, and obviously the Natasha Denona shades are rectangular, and obviously the bronze palette is one of their £65 palettes, so it's got the smaller shades in it, but the Tatty Beauty shade is the same size as normal single eyeshadows, which I think is very cool. So I always thought that these MAC palettes you could also remove the shades, but I believe that the pre-made palettes are harder to remove, but you can, if you finish them, I think, get them out. So when I do eventually finish this shade, I am going to try and pop this pan out and see if I can do that easily. And also, if I do end up, you know, making a good dent on this palette, I might disassemble it and put the shades into my singles collection of what is left of them. So if you do know or have any tips about these MAC palettes, please let me know. I'm pretty certain that this is different from the palette that you can buy and build yourself, because it was one of their pre-made palettes. So if you know anything about that, please let me know down below in the comments. This has been quite a quick and short video, but I hope that you enjoyed seeing just palettes, and it gave you some ideas of palettes in your collection that you might be able to use if you are trying to dupe out a colour story for something. So say the new Naked palette or anything like that. It's fun to be able to use your shades, and like I now know that if I'm ever trying to dupe anything, I've got a nice variety of greens here, and I don't have to go out and buy green eyeshadows to say fill a hole in my single eyeshadow collection, because I have greens here that I can use. And I think that's great, especially with like this Tatty Beauty palette, as I do enjoy the sequin formula, but it's not as amazing as everyone thought it was going to be. But it does mean that I've got these matte shades twice over, which is going to be great for, say I use up some of these, I can always use them as single shadows and just kind of take them out and use them like that. So I think that's really cool. And I am actually going to take out the Ritual shade. So this green shade is my Pan Those eyeshadows. So is this Tatty Beauty shade, and as they're both magnetic, I think I'm going to take them out and put them in here along with my other two shades, which are currently in my Pan Those eyeshadows, which are these two, as I think it would be really cool to have them just all together, because I am not wearing makeup that much at the moment, but I am still really enjoying my Pan Those eyeshadows and Pan That palette series. So I really am not sitting down and going, oh, I'm going to play with this palette today. I'm kind of focusing more on them, so I think having them out of the palettes at the moment makes sense for me. Now I have all four of my Pan Those eyeshadow shades all together, which I think is quite fun for a bit of a change, and means that I can really, you know, quickly see everything that I've got. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Last time I mentioned being close to nearly 100 subscribers. I gained a lot of subscribers, and I'm so thankful for everyone that has subscribed to my channel, as it means a lot to me. So I will hopefully see you in my next video.